All right, welcome back to Impact Health and Wellness. We have had a fantastic month. I hope that you guys have been encouraged and just filled up with just knowledge and empowering you to walk the walk, or help those that you might be surrounded with help walk. Because I remember my mom needing that extra assistance, especially on those days that things were not peachy, because they weren't, but as family members, we have to have that correct mindset. You have to know that they are strong, and speaking those words over them is just empowering. I love my mama. But, it was really a God thing. I got back from full-time RVing, and we were supposed to find a spot, and there was nothing that was available. Actually, I take that back. There was one. It was out in Goodlettsville. And I told my mom, I was like, it's a 30-minute drive. I don't know what it'll be like for traffic. Our daughter had just started kindergarten. But I was just, I was really more determined to moving in with my mom and helping her with this, because you need somebody. I knew she needed the nutrition that she was going to need, and it's not like she could make herself dinner. And don't ask my stepdad to make dinner, because it would be going out to Chinese every night or something. But it was a total God thing. And I just, I think when you go in with that mindset of, it's going to be awesome. We're going to rock this out, and you're going to get over everything, and your body's just going to be strong.
Yeah, you gotta have that. Or, it's just, going through this is like a roller coaster. It is a roller coaster. And, I cannot imagine going through this and not having my mindset the way it was, just positive. I'm just going to get through this, and I'm going to get over it. If I thought the whole time, oh, woe is me, and gosh, poor me, I think it would have been horrible. It would have been so horrific going through that. The treatments would have been, I just can't even imagine it. So your mindset is so important, and
absolutely.
And hopefully you have someone spiritually in your life, or maybe that's your time that you really connect and you find that person. I'm sorry, I got my warrior shirt on.
Well, I think one of the other cool things that Mom did was, she started her own Facebook group where she invited just her family and friends that wanted to walk this with her. And I think just
know about it.
And just the onpouring of love, and the cards that would come in the mail.
Lots of cards.
Like huge benefit, just because people know you're walking through it. And I think we're so casual on Facebook to just like a post or love a post or maybe send a comment. But really those words do make differences. I think no matter what you're going through, any type of time you can take to send somebody a quick message and just say, hey, I'm going to pray for you, and pray for them, and just be there for them. So this week we're really going to focus on the power of you and your thinking, because you've been through this entire week and you've learned a number of things.
Entire month.
Right? Yeah. This whole month. Yeah. Not just this week.
You're armed with, how additional therapies that you can go through, nutrition, filters you can use. And I think having all of those things in place when you are walking through something that's scary and fear-filled, you can walk through instead knowing I'm gonna beat this. I'm gonna come out better than I was, because there are a couple people that I know who, one for example, her husband walked through Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he says that he feels better today than he has in the past 20 years, and he walked through cancer. And he had tumors all over. So the power of your mind, and then using all of these additional things that we've talked about this month, and just walk through this, thriving, not just surviving, but thriving through this diagnosis, and just putting people around you that are going to walk with you in that same way, with that same power.
Yeah, and I think even everything you're around, the people that you surround yourself, the music you listen to, I think all gives you either power or defeat, so I really, even if you're on the prevention side, there's no better way, to start now than
Right.
to just start looking at that. Who's your friends with, and who are your kids' friends, and just kind of looking at that in general, so that you can make a clear course of action and just
Yeah.
keeping your family
Yeah.
safe.
Those 6 weeks of 30 sessions of radiation, I had to go every day to Vanderbilt, and every day I would turn on my Christian radio station. I found one and I listened to it, and there are some hilarious, people on that show. I mean, it just really lifted my spirits, and it put my mind where it needed to be. I'm beating this. Thank you, God. I'm going to get through it, and that was my life for 6 weeks, every day, and going and coming. So, yeah, very important.
I like what Melody said a couple of weeks ago about how our bodies can't fight something and flush out toxins and things when we're eating. Like we're storing at that time, so our body needs a break. But kind of along the same lines with mindset is you can't think about the good and the bad at the same time. Like one is going to win, and if even when you're going through the worst thing you could go through, there's good, and there's good at the end, and there's good in it, and there's people that are going to come with you. And there's just all kinds of good stuff that you can focus on, and if you focus on the good that you've got and the good that you're going to have, because now you know what to do. You are armed and you have all the tools. Be confident in that, and look at affirmations. Just make your thoughts. You have to take them captive, and when the bad thoughts come in, if you can take that and say that's not even true, and replace it with what is true and the hope that you have, you're going to have a better experience, and you're going to come out stronger. And it's totally possible for this cancer to be the best thing that ever happened to your life and your health.
And I think that's the best way to look at it. I mean, instead of it being an obstacle or a defeat, it's just I've already got this.
How
This
is
is
gonna
part
make
of
me
my
better?
story,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna just run with it. And I think this would be an awesome week too, to just kind of touch in a little bit with gut health, because I feel as if your
Other
mindset,
brain.
your other mindset comes from a lot of what your bacteria in your gut is saying, and if your gut is not well established, then you're going to have a lot of negative self-talk and a lot of depression or anxiety type moods. And there's some things that we do, and if you joined our event on the 13th, you came to our kombucha workshop, but maybe we can highlight that this week, because I think feeding all of that bacteria that we have that is good kind of helps to repopulate even better bacteria, and then you just get in the right thinking. But I feel like when you eat like crap, you kind of feel like crap.
Well,
and
and
with
it's
that
all-
is your mind.
It's all practice. I mean, you have to practice at eating healthy. I mean, it doesn't just come naturally. If you drive down the road, you've got an onslaught of all of these fast food restaurants. You put that in your body and you're not going to be feeling great. So it's a practice of preparing meals on Sunday for the whole week, eating healthy, making mindful decisions. It's a practice to think healthy thoughts, because our minds are so much more geared to go to the bad and the ugly and what's gone wrong than to what is good in our life. So it's just a practice that you have to do, and to be mindful of that. So hopefully we have, given you some tools. I mean, that's what it's about. It's like having all of these things kind of in your arsenal for the day that your family walks through this, or maybe you walk through this, and you're already prepared, and you already are practicing, so that when you're there, you can just run the race. You've already done all the steps. You know what's going. You know how to practice these certain tools. So you're gonna run this race, and you're gonna get to the end, and you're gonna be like, I did it. And I'm better because of it.
It's like a pregnancy, like you don't prepare for pregnancy when you deliver, like you have all of these months prior. That's the whole idea behind prevention. You just live a life of 80-20. If you want to go out and have your, pizza, then you go out and have a pizza. But your lifestyle does not invoke around that type of thinking all the time.
Right.
Because that's just not a healthy way, it just is not very healthy.
I know I heard it once said, don't don't live to eat to live. I mean, and that's with everything. I mean, with exercise, with stress, with sleep, with water. Do all of those activities to live, not live for those things, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And this is, think of it as a blessing, because it might be exactly the wake up call that your health and your family and your relationships needed, was for you to pay attention to this. And cancer will force you to pay attention to
It will.
your health, and
Yes.
use this as an opportunity to learn and to come out doing all the things that you probably should have been doing all along, but it's never too late. We just
Never.
want you to walk
Yeah,
away with
never.
hope.
Yeah. And I think I had just watched a movie recently with the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood. And he said it the best. He said the reason why I decided television was because it was a mainstream way to impact a huger population. You know, and I feel like Facebook or these types of interactions where we're socially discussing it gives us a huger platform to talk about it. You know, it's okay to talk about these things, and I feel like, you know, you need permission to do that, because like Kylie said, prevention is where it's at. So if you were to walk through this, just like you have your own life insurance, you know, what are you gonna do if life happens? If life happens to you, what are your steps? I would plan those out now instead of waiting until. And it's not introducing the concept to you, but it's giving you that power back. Instead of you giving power into the fear, you are taking charge of that. And I hope you listen to those things throughout this month. That's our heart, and that's why we came to you guys on this. So we're not done as far as just, you know, meeting up. We love sharing, and so next month we're gonna focus on a huge, oh my gosh, the diabetes epidemic.
Statistics will rock your world.
It will rock
Yeah.
your world. And so we're super excited to showcase that with you guys and just have a powerful, you know, month of just knowledge, information, because whether you're type 1 or type 2, you know, it's crazy the information that is out there with reversing it. So we want to encourage you guys on your walk, and thanks so much for tuning in to Impact Health and Wellness.
Bye.
Bye.
yeah.
Okay, don't stop.